League of Legends, a game that came out in October 2009 and 11 years later in 2020 is still the most popular MOBA game available on the market at this current date. But Init, this isn't an MMO, this isn't RuneScape or Arcade. Why are you covering this game? Well, bear with me guys, stick around, because just recently I've been playing quite a lot of League of Legends, and in this video I want to cover whether I think this game is worth playing for you guys as well, whether you are returning if you've played before, or whether you're thinking maybe I could pick up a new game and play it on the side. So if you are looking for a new game, or you used to play this game and are wondering whether you should return, then stick around, listen out to the end of the video, and hopefully we can get some questions answered for you. If you find any part of this video interesting or useful at any point, don't forget to leave a like so it helps out other people as well. And if you are new around here, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll be making more videos like this in the future as well. Probably some more League of Legends content too, and a wide variety of other MMORPG content and things like that. So I wanted to keep this video quick and fairly straight to the point, so let's jump straight into reasons that maybe you should play League of Legends and maybe you should return if you used to play and don't play anymore. But yeah, let's start off with the reasons to play, because I don't want to lose you straight off the bat. So what I want to do is list the positives of the game first, and that way you guys know what's going to be coming, and also for you people who really just like things super fast and short, then this will help you save time as well. So these are my positives for League of Legends. This game brings you a competitive environment. It also allows you to have casual gameplay, fast queue times. The game isn't as difficult to pick up as other MOBAs such as Dota 2. There is tons of replayability as it is a MOBA, and finally, but probably most importantly, the game is a lot of fun and it's also a fast-paced game. So now that you have my list of pros about the game, let's discuss them a little bit further, starting with the order that we went in, so competitive environment being the first point that I wanted to talk about. If you are the sort of gamer that really does like to compete and be the winner in every single situation, then any MOBA really is for you. However, League of Legends, as I said earlier, is the most popular MOBA available, and that really just sets the scene for some absolute competition during whether it's ranked games or the fact that a lot of players go pro in this and even take it into a career. You can climb up in the ranked sort of ladder and put a lot of time in to perfect all your champions that you want to do, or you could go ahead and just get one champion and try and be the best that there possibly could be with that champion. So this game really does provide a hell of a lot in the way of competitive play, and if that's something that you're interested in, then this game is probably really good for you. Secondly, which kind of is the complete opposite of competitive environment, this game does actually allow for a casual gameplay style. Now, if you are someone who literally doesn't really have much time to invest into games, and you really just like to pick something up, play it for an hour here and there, then this game is probably also pretty damn good for you. Even though this game has a massive competitive sort of scene to it, you can still play this game with not all that much time investment. However, you won't be aiming for these competitive things where you are going to be the best person at the champion you like, and you're probably just going to be playing a lot more for fun than for the fact of winning. But I mean, it is a game at the end of the day, and if you are purely playing just for a bit of casual fun, then League of Legends is something that you're definitely able to do. However, just to let you guys be aware, which is something I'm going to mention later on in the cons, you may get a little bit of flame from teammates, just because if you're not fully up to scratch or you're a bit rusty on the champion you're playing, then they might expect a bit more, and people do get a bit touchy in this game as it does get very competitive. A way to kind of avoid this would be probably to just stay away from games like the ranked game mode. That way you're not ruining anyone's game where rank is included, and you're just playing casually in a place where people are also learning different champions, and really if you lose or make a mistake, it's no harm done in any way whatsoever, as long as you're not intentionally ruining games. Point 3, being fast queue times, is a pretty quick one to cover really. When you get into a game, you start a queue to find a match. This is probably one of the fastest MOBAs to do this in, just because there's so many players online and it matches you up really quickly. The reason this is so good is because if you just want to go ahead and play a game but don't want to be sat around waiting for the people and stuff, you can literally just queue up, get straight in and play the game that you wanted to play. My fourth point is that this game really isn't as difficult to pick up as other MOBAs, and the example I used was Dota 2. However, there's not really much need to touch upon that game and just sort of explain how it works in this game. What I meant by picking the game up fairly easily is just the absolute basics, and this game does a really good job during the tutorial in explaining what the game is and how you need to play it, and also getting onto a couple of champions and figuring out how they work is fairly easy to do. And the game gives you plenty of options to go and practice against the bots or playing games with other players that are only against bots as well. And also, even when you're starting out, you'll be matched up with players around your skill level or new players as well. And this just makes it so you're not thrown into a deep end getting destroyed every single game, and it gives you a chance to learn as well. Not only that, there is a hell of a lot of guides and stuff on YouTube and other parts of the internet, so you can always check them out as well for any tips and stuff. However, for the absolute basics, there will be not all that much time needed to invest into actually getting those down and understanding how the game works. But you'll be on your way to perfecting yourself and just specific champions in absolutely no time. Point number 5 is that this game has a lot of replayability. As with most MOBAs, you can play them over and over and over again. Now the reason being is, even though you're on the exact same map each and every game, every single game is going to be different from the last, and the next one is going to be different from that as well. What I mean by this is, everyone's going to be picking different champions, and everyone plays in different styles. Not only that, the whole time you're playing, everything is going to be sort of decision making made on the go. So if you see someone doing something specific, you're going to have to decide what you're going to do about that, whether you're going to be countering a gank or whether you're going to be helping your teammate push a different lane and take some towers. There's so much different ways to play this game, and everything you do impacts it in a specific way, whether it's a positive to help your team win or whether you make a mistake and you end up losing. But each and every game will be different, and it's all about learning and progressing yourself on understanding how things work. And basically, you're never ever going to be in the same situation more than once. Sure, some places and some sort of scenarios might be more or less the same idea, combos and things like that, but nothing is ever going to be 100% the same. There's no repetitiveness other than the scenery. Also, take it from me, being able to go in a game and prove that you are better than everyone else in your rank by destroying them over and over and over again just doesn't really get old. The final point that I wanted to make is purely just, this is a very fun game. It's a fast-paced game that's going to keep you making decisions on the fly, and you're going to be constantly thinking, and you're never going to just be sat there bored out your mind wondering what to do. You always have to be paying attention, you always have to be thinking about what you're going to be doing next. And while that is one of the many things that does keep this game fun, there's so many other reasons as well. For example, when you manage to do something that was incredibly unlikely to happen, say for example you dive under a tower and you take out 2 enemy champions and you barely just get away on like 10 health, that will give you such a buzz that you'll be looking to get exactly that done again and again and again in the future. And while that might not happen every game, there'll be plenty of times where you outplay your opponent, which just makes you feel like you are literally on top of the world. That's what makes this game fun. It's all those little addictive little moments that you're constantly looking for and proving that you are better than your opponents. Okay, so while there is many other reasons why you should probably play this game, or at least come back and give it another try, there is probably going to be too many for me to list, and I don't want this to go on for all that much longer. So to me, those are probably a lot of the very important ones, and I'm going to leave it there for the pros. However, just keep in mind there is a lot of other reasons that I haven't covered. Okay, so the cons to League of Legends. The bit where I'm probably going to lose quite a few of you guys on this video who may quickly decide this game is not for you. However, you can't really make a video discussing whether you should play without including them in it, so let's just dive into them. There's not too many that I want to mention, but they are pretty big. So just like with the pros, I wanted to list the negatives that I do have for this game first, and then we'll go in and discuss them one by one. First of all, we have quite a toxic community in this game. Also, there's lots of trolls or time wasters. The game is very addictive, and also it's a region locked MOBA, and I'll explain what that means just in a little while. So, point number 1, a toxic community. League of Legends is probably known for this, and to be honest, if you haven't played League of Legends but you have heard of it, you've probably heard about the toxic community as well. Now, the reason that the community is so toxic is because it's such a competitive game and people really hate losing. And not only that, there's a lot of people who really can't see the mistakes that they've made and will look directly at anybody that they can. Even if you are doing absolutely amazingly, that will not stop them from calling you out on every tiny little mistake that you could possibly make and calling you names that you probably shouldn't even mention on YouTube. So I'm not going to. However, that doesn't mean that there is not decent people in this game as well, because if you're a decent person playing, then there you go. That just shows that there is decent people playing. It's just that pretty much almost every game, or every other game at least, will probably have someone that you really can't stand and just don't stop typing like they are losing their mind. So luckily, however, there is a mute button, so just if you are in that situation, make sure you use that mute button and don't respond to them, because that way they get bored and it just makes the game a hell of a lot better to quickly mute them and move on with your day. Point 2 kind of ties in with the toxic community, however, not specifically just from people being angry and saying all sorts of stuff that they probably shouldn't say. This game has a lot of trolls and people who will just be in that game purely to waste your time. Don't ask me why, I don't have a clue. What is the appeal to going into a game purely to waste 30 minutes to 40 minutes of your time? Just running straight down the mid lane and dying and ruining the game for your team. And not only that, it ruins it for the enemy team as well, because you're playing a competitive game. What's the point in playing if it's just handed to you and there's no need to even put effort in? Well, these people do exist, and it's something that you may have to put up with once in a while. It's not ridiculously common to have someone who will purely just run straight down mid and ruin it fully like that, but having a troll in your team, someone who maybe tries to get you killed or just does stuff that makes your life really difficult, then this is probably not all that uncommon. It's just, it depends what on sort of level you're thinking that this may happen on, but they do happen. However, there is a report system at the end of the game where you can report the person who did that, and they will likely get a ban as long as plenty of people do report them. However, this does not unfortunately stop them from making a new account and just doing it again. The third con to this game, in my opinion, is that it is a very addictive game. You can literally lose so many hours in this game. You will queue up, you will play, you may win, you may lose, it does not matter. You will probably click that play again button if you have the time to do so. Now, why is this? Because one, if you win, wow, you've just had an amazing game, it's all gone so well, why wouldn't you play another game? You want to get that buzz again, everything's perfect, let's go. If you lose, I don't want to lose like that. I'm not leaving the game on a loss. I am not going to bed without a win, and that is not good enough. That game shouldn't have ended like that. I'm going to play again, and I'm going to prove to everybody that I am not that bad. Well, you're back in game no matter what, and if you had the time, you will be back in game, and next thing you know, you'll look at the time and realise, oh crap, it's actually midnight, and I really should be going to sleep since I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning getting ready for work. But in all honesty, this game really can be quite addictive, and it can really sort of interfere in real life on the fact that if you're trying to climb on ranked and stuff, that can really take some time investment. But if you have work, you might end up realizing that you are sleeping a hell of a lot less than you should be, so maybe keep that in mind when playing this game. If you find that you get addicted to games really easily, maybe just take it into account before starting playing. Is this game gonna take over your life? If so, then maybe just give it a miss. The final con that I have for this game is the fact that it's a region locked game. Now, what I mean by that is, if you are playing, ping is pretty damn important, and you'll likely be playing in the region of where you are. So if you are in Europe, you're going to be playing on EU West or EU East. If you are in America, then you're going to be playing on the North American servers, and so on for depending on where you live in the world. However, the only issue with this is that if you wanted to play with someone from, say, a different country, say you wanted to play with someone on North America, but you live in the EU, and you're not too fussed about playing with that 100 ping that you may get, and you really just want to play with some friends that you used to play with in the past, you probably won't be able to, or if you do, the only thing you can do is make another account or pay to have your account transferred, which means if you have all these characters unlocked on one account, you will not be able to use them on a different server or different region unless you pay to have it transferred over. Every now and again, they do have sort of events where you can switch your account for free, but these aren't too common. I believe there's maybe a few a year, or just maybe following them on Twitter or something would probably give you a good time to do that. However, otherwise you're going to have to pay for it, and it's not all that cheap, so maybe just keep an eye out for when those events are if you are planning on doing it. But like I said, if you wanted to play with someone from a different server while keeping your characters on the server that you are used to playing on, you'll have to make a new profile, which means you don't have any of the champions you enjoy playing with, and you'll have to just play whatever's free at the time and work on unlocking some from that server as well. So after going through all those pros and cons, hopefully you guys can have sort of an idea whether this game would suit you or not. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun playing it, and I'm playing it fairly casually between playing MMOs and making YouTube videos on other things as well. It just sort of makes it really easy for me to drop what I was doing that I'm getting burnt out of, jump into League of Legends, play a game here and there, and then go back to what I was doing. But this game is incredibly fun. I probably myself would recommend that you do at least try it out. It is free to play anyway, so if none of the cons have made you completely against trying this game, I'd give it a shot, because you've got really nothing to lose other than maybe a few hours here and there. Unless you're one of those people who have a really addictive personality and you're going to end up wasted probably hours and hours and hours and hundreds of more hours on top. So maybe just be careful if you're one of those people. Anyway, I hope this video did help you out on making a decision whether you should play or whether you should return or not. If it did, then obviously leave a like on the video, because then it suggests it to other people as well. And also, if you enjoyed this sort of video and think that you'd enjoy videos like this in the future, or if you would like to see me make some more League of Legends content, maybe some games or anything along that line, then drop a subscribe. Let me know in the comments as well that you would like to see that or what you would like to see, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.